So Facebook just released an update that's going to change the way your ads are distributed and the way your money is spent. So if you want to know what this update is and where to see the impact, stay tuned. What's up everybody, Alvaro here from Alvaro Barros Digital, and today I want to talk about a very important ads targeting update that you need to be aware of because it will impact your campaigns and it's going to impact how you spend your money, and this is your hard-earned money, so you should know what is going on. So the update actually has to do not necessarily with detailed targeting or lookalikes or anything like that. It actually has to do with location targeting. So as you probably are aware, anytime you put together a campaign, you have to select what countries or cities or regions your ads are distributed in. Now, traditionally, when you would go to select the countries or cities or whatever it might be, there was a dropdown, and from that dropdown, you could select multiple options. The default was people living in or recently in this location, but I always like to switch that to people living in this location, because with the first default option that Facebook would give you, that would include people who were vacationing in that area but then are no longer in that area, right? So if I'm targeting the United States and then people took a vacation in the United States and then they went back to their home country, let's just say somewhere in South America, then they could still be eligible to receive impressions in South America, even though I'm not actually targeting South America. So I always prefer to switch this to people living in this location, but you could also switch it to people recently in this location or people traveling in this location. This bottom option was primarily used for people who are in some kind of vacation service. Maybe your target audience is people who are visiting the area for any kind of tourist reason, and so you could go ahead and select that right there. But now when you go and select your campaign options, you're going to notice that that option is no longer available. So it looks like this: reach people living in or recently in this location. So that is the default option that we saw on the previous screen. But like I said earlier, you could always hit that drop down menu and change it to people living in this location. However, that is gone. And if we hover over the information icon right here, we'll see that it says all location targeting will now reach people living in or recently in the locations you select. The other options have been removed, so you won't have to select a type of location targeting here. So that means that no matter what, even if people aren't in your targeted area, if they were recently in that area for whatever reason, you can then start showing impressions in other countries or cities that you may not be targeting. A little annoying and frustrating, and really the only reason that Facebook is doing this is for the same reasons they launched their Meta Verified program, which, by the way, if you don't know what that is, I will link that for you right up here in the video so that you can go ahead and check it out. But it's just to make more money, right? Because if they can show more impressions to more people in more countries, then they end up making more money. So a little annoying and frustrating. The good news is that it's ultimately not going to be a massive amounts of money that you might be spending in countries or cities or regions that you're actually not intending to target, but it's money nonetheless. So now when you start scrolling through where your ads are being distributed, you might see that they're showing up in countries or cities or regions that you have zero intention of targeting or showing, and you can see how much is actually being spent in the amount spent column right there. And as you can see in this example, you know, it's not a whole lot of money being spent in these other countries, but think about this over the course of a year, right? You're spending maybe a couple cents, let's just say 50 cents a day in countries and targeting locations that you're actually not actually going after, right? Extend that out to an entire year, and then another year, and then however long you can keep on advertising on Facebook. That's eventually going to add up to thousands of extra dollars that Facebook is going to then be pocketing in their bank account. So a little annoying and frustrating, but it is something that you should be aware of and you want to be paying attention to, because if you start seeing way too many impressions in an area that you aren't actually intending to target, then you might have to make some sort of adjustment in terms of the way you're getting in front of people for that campaign. So be sure to be aware of this. It's not officially rolled out in all accounts yet. It's about 50-50 in all my clients. Some of them still have that original menu. Some of them have this new option where you cannot change any of the location targeting options, which is a little bit of a bummer. Another thing too is that because of the fact that you can no longer target people traveling that location, that is also a huge bummer for people who are actually in the tourist space and who their target audience is tourists. That was a helpful option, but for whatever reason, probably because because there's not that many advertisers in that space, Facebook felt that it was worthwhile to get rid of that. So that is the update for today. If you have any questions about this update, let me know in the comments below. And if there's any topics you would like for me to cover, also let me know, and I'll be happy to create a video about it. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.